Music was always going to be a part of my life, whether or not it was my job. Maybe there comes a time where, life changes. Like I would still, even if I took my business commercial real estate route, I could see myself coming home at night and sitting at the piano and singing and writing songs. Like that's what's beautiful about music to me. Like it doesn't have to be your job. You can just sing your heart out whenever you want.
Okay, let's get into it then, Pat.
Let's do it.
I'm
Hey.
Jules.
Hey,
Nice
Jules.
to meet
Pat,
you.
really great to meet you.
This is the Joy FM. I don't know if you're aware.
I love the Joy FM.
Do you? We
do.
love you. Okay, so can we go,
Big love.
before we jump into all the questions,
Yeah.
let's handle the most important question. Did you go to University of Georgia?
Girl, you know I did.
Oh my God.
Come
Do
on.
you know how to call the dogs?
Go dogs! Sing 'em!
Okay, so you went to Georgia. I
That
love
was
that.
very cathartic to do that.
Did you get it all out?
I don't think so. There's always leftovers. But, we took my kids to their first Georgia games this past season. They went to 2.
This is a good season. for
Loved
that.
it. Oh, yeah. It was electric. Are you going to games?
Yeah, well, so
Heck yeah.
I live in Athens.
Where? Oh, you can't say that. Wouldn't you like to know?
Yeah, I can't
Yeah, right.
say that. I don't need any telemarketers at my house.
That's because you live in Athens.
So
We
I-
loved Athens.
All right, you should come back and live just like me and everybody
So
else
many
that
of my
goes to
friends live
school
there.
there, and they're like, okay, I'm staying.
Yeah. It's awesome. What a town.
All right, so did you go to like a campus ministry? Because if we know the same people.
It was called, at the time, Crossroads is what it was called at the time.
Okay.
And then I think it was Crew, like Campus Crusade.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Maybe it turned into that. It was like whatever the Greek, it was very Greek.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of frat boys and sorority girls. But all the campus ministries were awesome. Like Wesley was always awesome.
For sure. They had good snacks too.
Really?
Yeah, you
Like
don't remember
what?
that? If you went across the little alleyway, they had like coffee and cookies. It was free. Or at least I thought it was free. Maybe people were paying.
Yeah, and that's when I started stealing. It's just good to know when it began. Trace it back.
So college years was a time of spiritual growth for you?
Well, yeah, I think. Well, it's funny. It was, and it was also a time of like. You're asking like the huge like life questions. What am I doing with my whole life? But I'd already been leading worship, writing songs, and I think college was just like the in between time until that was like full time, because I went in and I was like, I'm going to study. I had to choose a major, which is crazy. I'm 18. I don't know what I want to do. I have to choose a major. I was like, went down a list. I was like, business real estate. What a mistake for me. I took accounting, got a 40 on my first test. Never gotten a 40 on anything in my life. And then did speech communication and loved it.
Oh.
And led worship on the weekends and wrote songs and went to Georgia games. Met my wife, Meg, at Georgia, which was awesome.
But basically, I don't need you to do my taxes, is what you're saying.
I would keep me as far away from your books as possible.
Good.
You don't want me, which wouldn't have been a bad thing to learn in school either, how to do taxes. More helpful than algebra.
Wouldn't it?
Right?
I know. Okay, so Father's Day is coming up.
Yep.
Do you have like a good dad story?
You have a good dad story.
Okay, here's where I'm going with that question.
Yeah, of course.
There was one time I was leaving Sports Academy, and I saw the man exiting, and he had a patch on his eye. And my daughter Ellie was with me. And I knew what was going on in her mind, that there was a pirate coming out of Sports Academy. Like
Yeah,
I knew
what's
it,
he
but I
buying in
couldn't
there?
grab her fast enough, Pat? And of course she runs up to him and says, "Are you a pirate?" And it was like I couldn't find the shovel to dig the hole quick enough so I could jump into.
What did he say?
He actually was a great sport. He even
Oh, I
did like
bet
the
he
whole like
was.
yar, he did everything.
That's sweet.
But
That's
as
sweet
a
of him.
parent, our kids do those kind of things. Surely you have one of those horror stories that if you're like, if I could run off and hide somewhere.
I mean, okay, I have to think about it. With me, like my own parenting as a parent, is that or anything?
Or other. Maybe
just
you were the
lob me an
kid that was like, yar.
open-ended question.
Yeah, you
actually,
like
I have a story that it's not mine, but I feel like it's an analogy for parenthood in general and fatherhood, where we had some close friends that they just had a baby and they're taking their baby in for their very first like checkup. So it's like I don't know how many weeks that is. It's pretty early. So you're getting the baby's had a bath. You've finally taking a shower. You put yourself together. Everything's perfect for the first doctor wellness visit. And then they put their child down and, a spider crawls out of the baby's diaper. The parent was like, all I need is this first doctor's visit to be smooth. Everything's okay. Here, we're at the doctor. Hey, nice to meet you. We'll be here often. Spider crawls out of a diaper. Baby wasn't bit, but the principle, in my opinion, is an analogy for parenthood. You think it's going to look awesome and you're going to have it all together, but everyone's got a spider crawling out of their diaper somewhere. So
that's a good life lesson.
That's what fatherhood feels like sometimes.
I feel like you could make that into a song.
I think I should.
Like when a spider comes out of your diaper.
So, do you get 20% of that song?
That was actually 30%. Please. You grew up as a preacher's kid. So there kind of maybe some wisdom that your dad instilled in you that you're now?
So much wisdom. My go-to advice from my dad was not something he ever said to me. It was the way my parents argued, and they didn't hide it from us. Like they didn't argue in another room, and then it's not like we didn't grow up around conflict or whatever. But they gave us the gift of disagreeing in front of us, but then also reconciling in front of us as well. So we were never worried if we were in a conversation that felt like we were, trying to work it out or butt heads or anything. Conflict never meant we didn't love each other or anything like that. So I think that's been I've done that around my kids. We don't feel like, if Meg and I are trying to figure something out, we don't have to shoo the kids into another room to shield them from conflict because they know that we love each other. And I think it's important to see people disagree, but then own their part of the problem and apologize. And when you do that in front of somebody, it's really, especially a kid, it's really powerful. So that's something we've carried on.
My husband and I don't argue, so I don't know what
you wouldn't know.
I can't relate.
Yeah, no, it's weird. It's kind of lonely because I'm the only one that can.
Because I'm a really good Christian.
Sick.
So, but honestly, my
Girl,
husband.
You're killing it.
Okay, thanks. Thank you so much. No, my husband's just always wrong and I'm always right.
Yeah,
so there's really not
hard for him. I bet.
It's really hard for me for my humility.
Yeah.
I
think you're doing good though.
It's really hard. Just pray for me.
It's like you're doing great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's so funny as a parent because I remember as a kid thinking, I'm never going to say that, blah, 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 blah. And then the next thing I know, I grow up, I am a mom, and then I say the thing that I said I would never.
What's the thing?
This is why we can't have nice things.
You say that?
I say that.
I say that as a joke sometimes, but you say that for real.
But because my kids do things, Pat, that I'm like, are you insane? Do you know how much this is?
Yeah.
But I was the worst kid. One time I took a hammer, and I'm not sure why, to the dash of my dad's truck. And I just hammered all down the dash.
Just because you weren't angry.
Because I was a kid. I wasn't thinking.
You're like,
and so I remember
my
my dad was so nice because he didn't kill me or drop me off at the end of the road.
But he said, this is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you think I would be so nice as a mom, being like, wow. I get it, because I was that way.
That's a powerful metaphor. Just hammer to the truck. And he understood. How old were you?
I don't know. Old enough to know.
Old enough to know.
I was like, hey, you should not put a hammer to your dad's truck.
Yeah. You learned that pretty early.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So
that's awesome.
Do your kids, have they done?
Oh, yes. They have Nerf battles in the neighborhood right now. But I discovered early on that my son is a pretty good shot. He's he can hit me in the neck from 30 yards anywhere in the house. And anyone that would come over to the house and watch how merciless we are with Nerf wars, it concerned them. They're like, did you just take a headshot on your kid with a Nerf gun? I was like, I absolutely did, and it was beautiful. Because it was right before he disappeared into the framework of the door. That's not how we handle conflict, but it fills me with joy. There's a lot of play in our house. We play a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
We do.
You need to, right?
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't get in that much trouble. Even though I'm a preacher's kid, though, I didn't get in that much trouble growing up. My kids they're not pushing the boundaries all the time either. Yet. Is that?
I don't know.
Probably.
Now, does your wife play like that?
Yeah, we're playful.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of play, a lot of laughing.
Let's take a hard left turn and talk about your new song.
Let's do it.
Okay. So Beautiful Life Is this a song that you live or a song that you need?
Ooh. I think on my best days, I live it. And every day I need it. Because life doesn't always like work out the way we thought it would. Sometimes when things feel difficult, tough, you're in the middle of something. The last thing you want someone to tell you is like, isn't life just beautiful? But the more life you live, you realize that there's so many different waves of experiences. And even right now, like we have a room, no one knows this. There's a room filled with people. There's people in the middle of so many different things in their life. Probably a lot of joy, a lot of pain, a lot of questions, a lot of, unanswered, what do I do with this thing? And I just find it really comforting that God participated in all of it. And he actually gives us a perspective and a way to hold it that doesn't mitigate all the pain, but it does give us a framework of like believe it or not, even the unpleasant things that you're here to experience it can in some ways be a gift. That you're living in a miracle whether you believe it or not. Actually, it doesn't even matter if you believe it. There's so many involuntary things happening keeping you here right now, that your heartbeat, your breathing, your whatever, that's a very everyday overlooked miracle that we woke up today to new mercy. And then on top of that, to experience the joy and the sorrow of life, and to be able to see like, wow, even Jesus participated in all of that and offered us a way to hold it as a gift, like open-handed. And there are a lot of days where that's an aspirational thought. It's a prayer. Like, okay, things don't feel easy right now. I don't want to just jump around for joy, but I do want to be able, in the middle of all this hardship, experience the nearness and promises of God in a way that affects my family, that models for my kids that even when life is hard, it's still beautiful. So,
I love the line. Both. I love the line where it doesn't mean it's always going to feel all right, but it will be a gift if you hold it right.
I rhymed right with right.
I love how you did the rhyming there.
Yeah, thanks.
No, just because I think it articulates exactly what you just said. That
yeah,
there are going to be days where you're going to dance and you're going to sing and you're going to celebrate, and then the next breath you're going to get the phone call that brings you right back down.
Yeah. Faith it's most needed after you get the phone call. Because it's not pretty. Faith isn't some pretty, precious thing. It's actually, it can take a punch and a beating and a layoff, an unexpected death in the family. It can handle all that in a way that's meaningful without having to pretend. It doesn't mean it's going to feel good. Well, I don't like that this is happening. That's okay. You don't have to like it, but it's happening. So what else? What are our options here? You either let the bitterness and you can get a jaded heart and you pile onto what's already difficult, a whole number of unneeded bruises, or you say, okay, God help me carry this, cast your cares upon him because he cares for you. His yoke is easy, his burden is light. You have all the promises, but to participate in faith in that way when it doesn't feel awesome, that's when it really counts.
Do you ever find yourself, because I do, when life is just so beautiful and so great, it's almost like, I got to hold my breath because when's the shoe going to drop?
Yeah.
And I know that's not correct theology, right?
I mean, I don't know if it's, yeah. It may not be, just expecting something wrong to happen, but just assuming life is going to be easy is horrible theology. Mm-hmm. I'd rather, again, time to live, a time to die, a time to embrace, a time to refrain from embracing the beautiful gifts. God has made everything beautiful in its time, Ecclesiastes. The gift is in both of those things. God not just being in the good thing, but being present in the difficult thing. And then all of a sudden you realize, what do we have to be afraid of?
That the God that holds you now holds you tomorrow, whatever tomorrow holds.
That's what it does for me. It helps you sleep a little easier at night, and you go, okay, if he's going to be there when I get the job, or he'll be there when I don't get the job. He'll be here when, the hardship isn't here. He'll be present when the tragedy happens. And what do we really have to be afraid of? Mm-hmm. Not much or any. Yeah.
If he's good.
Yeah. I believe he is.
That's right.
I really believe he is.
You have a busy schedule. I mean, you're coming off a tour, you're heading on a tour, you're here with me, you got kids, you have a family. How do you find community?
Oh, I have great friends that they won't let me get away with anything. I have long, old friends in my life too. Like some of my best friends I've had since I was 15. And they could care less whether I do music or not. Honestly, some of them are like, "Are you still doing music?" Like they don't.
How do you pay the bills?
Yeah, they just. I have friends that they know what's going on in my life, and if I needed anything, truly, I probably have 4 or 5 people I could, if I shot the SOS flare, they'd be there in a heartbeat, and my wife does too. So I feel really fortunate on that end, and community is hard. It's not always like. You have to schedule time to put yourself out there and inconvenience sometimes your preferences to be around people. But we need it. We really need it. And Meg, so we have that on the friend level. We also have that with family too. I couldn't really travel without Meg's family. My wife Meg, her family lives about an hour away. My parents are about an hour away. They're really involved in my kids' lives. So we rely heavily on family and friends.
Do you have that one person in your life that will say the truth that you need to hear?
I wish I just had one. I have 6. I'm like, could I just have one? Yeah.
Is there a time that comes to your mind that you were blind or you just couldn't see it? And
many. Yeah, so many. I mean, honestly, Meg is one of those people for me. I mean, especially with songs. If I play something for her that sometimes I feel like if she gets even just a hint of disingenuousness, she'll be like, "What was that line? Was that just you? You mail that one in? You rhyme grace with face again? Gotta love your grace. I love your face, Lord." She's one of those people that just really in a beautiful way pushes me towards being honest with myself, because I can be such an optimistic, it's all gonna be all right person. Some of my challenge in life has been to sit with the painful things and not just try to avoid that. And gosh, songs that have been written and songs that I'll never put out just because they were just for that moment where I was sitting with God with those types of feelings have been really powerful. And I feel really fortunate to have my wife she helps me with that.
Pushes you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And encourages me, and yeah, I'm really grateful for that.
I read somewhere that you weren't ever going to be thinking about doing your whole solo thing, but it was your wife that was like, "Hey, have you thought about doing this?"
Yeah. I asked her, I feel like this is a dangerous question. I kind of regret asking it. I'm being playful, but kind of. I was just like, okay, if I just quit everything I was doing right now, what would you tell me to do next? She knows what I care about, what I talk the most about, things that I aspire to. What would you tell me should be my next step? Which is a pretty wild question to consider. Do you know what your best friend would say if you asked them that?
Who, for me?
Yeah, it's a wild question.
That is a wild and a very dangerous.
I know. So consider that. I just kind of put it out there to her, and she said, I hear all these songs you write around the house that it doesn't seem like you have an outlet for. I wonder if you'd find a lot of joy sharing those songs with people. And I told her no right away, because it wasn't in my plan. I'd never thought I'd love to do my own record. And then it was a little seed was planted that continued to grow. And all of a sudden I was like, okay, I think I should do this. This is what it taught me. Music was always going to be a part of my life, whether or not it was my job. Maybe there comes a time where life changes. I would still, even if I took my business commercial real estate route, I could see myself coming home at night and sitting at the piano and singing and writing songs. That's what's beautiful about music to me. It doesn't have to be your job. You can just sing your heart out whenever you want. So she encouraged me to just do that and share it with people.
Yeah, because you sing well. I mean, I don't
Thank
think
you.
anyone's going to say that to me.
Really?
No, that or accounting. No,
Yeah.
no one's ever going to be like, Jules, you should be my accountant. No, or sing for me. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
You're going to be turning 40.
Let's do it.
Okay, are you celebrating or crying? Where are you?
I'm celebrating 40. Are you kidding? Yeah, I'm stoked about it. I think 40 is going to be awesome. I'm in my dad zone right now. So it's like Meg and I's 15-year anniversary, and we're both turning 40. So it's a big year.
This is a big year.
Uh-huh.
Well, so you know that commercial, Are You Turning Into Your Parents?
Oh, the guy, is it Geico one?
Is it Geico? It's some insurance one.
Yes, so funny.
Progressive. Yes. Okay, when you see that now on TV, do you still laugh, or are you like, it's not funny anymore,
Getting
guys?
close. I don't think it's been targeted at my gen yet.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
So you don't
It's
do like
coming.
the paper tickets
No,
for the flights?
That's going straight for the boomers.
You don't like ever ask the waitress what their name is or anything?
I do that actually.
Okay,
Dang it.
that is a very
I missed that commercial.
That's a
I think I
very-
blocked that one out.
Yeah. Do you make jokes like my dad's joke whenever we ask somebody to take a picture? He's like, "Oh, it's okay. I got a lot of film." And it's like, Dad, that joke is so old. Like, it's not funny. That's
It's kind of funny.
Is it?
I mean,
Don't
for
encourage
him,
my dad.
give him. He can have that.
Is there something that you would just love for your dad to know what he means to you?
Yeah, I would love my dad to continue to know that he has modeled for me what trusting God with your kids can look like. Because early on in my life, I watched my dad like kind of release me to the things that he could tell I was interested in. Like I was interested in music. He didn't try to like squash that. He tried to fan that flame. And when music as a teenager took me out of singing at my dad's church or like playing guitar and led me to like another youth group with like more kids with the band, like he released me to do that, which is, I think, a pretty profound thing. Like he could have said no. He could have redirected. You know, he could have just said, you can play at our church and that's just the way it is. But he didn't. He kind of just realized like, wow, there's a path that Patrick is interested in and I want to fan the flame instead of cover it. And that was a really powerful thing he did for me early on. I want to do that with my kids. So
One last follow-up question then. Have you had that chance to do that for your kids yet?
I'm starting to. You know, what it was for me, it was like, every steps along the way, it was participating in the things that they're interested in and not just trying to shut it down. My kids, and I'm at the point now where I'm seeing all their little personalities start to fly in different directions. So that seems a little wild, but I'm up for it.
Isn't that so cool? That like the
Yeah.
ripple effect of your dad.
Oh
what
my
he
gosh,
did for
amazing.
you, and then now the ripple effect that you can do that for your
Yeah,
kids.
100%.
Legacy.
Yeah.
So cool. All right. So can we have some fun?
Can we please?
I mean, when I say that, it sounds like
No,
we
I know
didn't
you
have
meant
fun.
the hurt, but
It meant like we weren't having fun
No,
before.
we
but
are
we did.
having fun.
I'm
Yeah.
having tons of fun. Okay. So this is the disco of questions.
this is the disco of questions. Disco ball of
Guys,
fun.
this is my game, okay? Everyone just pipe it. We're going to ask questions that you pick out. They're all very hard hitting.
Are
Because
they?
I woke up this morning and I said, I'm going to be
You wrote all these today?
I have dyslexia. They don't let me write anything because you wouldn't be able to read it.
Yeah.
Okay, ready. All right.
Okay. What's the most underrated place you have traveled to? Underrated. Ooh. You know, I want to take my kids there. I used to think it was kind of gimmicky, but Gatlinburg, which it kind of, my kids would love it.
It's really fun.
They would have the best time. I feel like they've not experienced the glory of Gatlinburg and the China Bazaar, and they could buy a couple, shurikens and...
I'm all for this. Summer vacay, kids.
Okay, what else? If you had to land a plane, do you think you could? And why? Yeah, instinct. I feel like
Truly.
is someone walking me through it? They're on the other end of the radio.
It's
I
like
can
driving
focus
a
in.
car.
You know what it is though? It's actually, I feel like in decisive moments, like danger moments, I'm really good.
Really?
I focus in.
I run.
See, Meg, my wife, she couldn't.
I panic.
I mean, yeah, she would panic. I could do it. What's a hobby or interest you'd have that would surprise people? I really enjoy reading.
Really?
Just kind of just like old school hobby. You know what I mean? Just like
Do you do books or do you do Kindle?
Kindle, which my parents, this is kind of crazy. My parents have always given me gifts for like Christmas that I didn't ask for. Like, I didn't like, I begged for a dog. When
They gave you a cat instead?
No, we didn't get any dog. When I came home from college when I was 19 for Christmas, I came downstairs. They're like, Merry Christmas. And there was an old dog. I was like, whose dog is this? They're like, it's yours. I was like, I don't live here anymore. I'm in college. They're like, well,
And
it's
it's
ours.
old. Like it's going to die.
And then they growled at me. I was like, I didn't ask for this dog at this point. And then another Christmas, my mom was like, she watched me open it too. She's like, she handed me this gift. I opened it, and it was like this like rope flashlight that was like you could bend and it could stay there. And then she goes, I think you could use this around the house. You know, if like the plumbing leaks and you need to like tie it around and look. I was like, Mom, when have I ever done that? So anyways, I didn't ask for a Kindle. Mom gave me a Kindle, and it changed my life.
Did it?
Other gifts I haven't used that much, but
Yeah, and the old dog.
the old dog, Scampy was his name.
Scampy, what a good name too.
R.I.P.
last one.
Scampy.
Really dig deep, bro.
Maybe there's a couple in here. Let's just see what happens. What is something that is expensive but worth it? Ooh. If you can ever go to Hawaii, it's worth it.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's worth. Like I was like, surely Hawaii can't be as beautiful as everybody says it is. I went one time. I couldn't even take it in. And then it's like I blinked and I was on Craigslist looking for like just random jobs. It's like, I could live here. And Megan's like, we can't live here. I was like, we can live here. And she's like, but it's like $9 a gallon for milk. I was like, but look at this place. But look at this place.
We'll live on love.
It's Hawaii. We can do anything we want. It's like, we can't do anything we want. We have jobs. Okay. What's my favorite spot in my house? The piano.
Piano. That's a good.
Yeah.
Maybe you should be an artist then.
I'm going to try.
Give it a shot. Just see what
The
happens.
disco of questions was awesome.
Was that scary to you?
That
or
was
fun?
a little bit scary, but pretty fun. Pretty thrilling.
Okay.
It made me lean in.
You did? Okay.
You're great at this, by the way.
I'm not great. You're just really nice and kind.
No, you're...
And then, okay, but tell my boss, 10% raise. You heard it right here.
Carmen.
Yeah. Do you remember
HR.
Hey, Pat, the other line, the raise. No, I want more vacation time.
What do you want? Do you want, well, you know what? You know what
This
I've
is
heard?
not staged
You can't
at all.
You can't.
Not at all.
I've heard that people that get unlimited PTO don't take it. You think?
Oh, I totally would.
You think?
Yeah.
Unlimited PTO, statistically, they take way less.
You know what? I've been
Because no one knows where the boundary is. Isn't that kind of crazy?
That is crazy. That's such a human
crazy.
nature. I've been petitioning that we should have vacation days that I can gift you. So, like, if you do something cool, I gift it. But then I can also take away. If you did something, like you took my coffee cup and I didn't like it,
You could take
it.
You taking the one you gave them or take one from them?
Yeah, so then it's like you're buying my friendship.
Oh, yeah.
You like that?
Yeah.
I mean, it's all about
Just transactional.
capitalism.
It's kind of sick.
It's American.
Learn the rules, roll with it. I love that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I like the telling my boss to give me a raise.
Yeah.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
I think that she heard it.